Howdy folks, and welcome back to another exciting video. We've got a lot of rain going on, you can hear that in the background, but that's not going to stop us to making progress on this 1969 Charger that we're bringing back for the third time at this point. In the last video we tackled a lot of electrical gremlins and we knocked out so many different things that were messed up, and it's functioning much better after this point. In this video, we're going to focus on making this thing run so much better and be so much more reliable in the process. You need to stick around to the end of the video and find out exactly how we do that. But before we progress any further, we've got some winners to announce for our last giveaway in the previous video. Now, they entered to win by buying a t-shirt or a sticker on our website in the link below. Doing so entered them into win after ordering for 7 days from the post of the video. We're going to do the exact same thing again in this video. You will find out what the entries are at the very end. So do not forget, if you want to be entered to win, go down in the link below, order something from now to 7 days from now, and it will automatically enter you to win. Let's announce those winners. I have their names right here, and I'm going to apologize because I may mispronounce them. But the first one is Bill Piseco, I hope that's right, Doug Belico, Jason Hale, and Anita Sampson. You guys won some awesome stuff. We have signed original pieces of 1969 Charger sheet metal that came from this car right here. So guys, if you won, this is in the mail on its way to you right now, and one of you will get the old headlight switch from the car as well. So again, at the very end of this video, if you want to enter to win, you have to order a t-shirt or a sticker, and we'll pick at random someone from that list. If you want to see what we're going to be giving away, you got to stick around to the end. So let's get to work. Probably the biggest upgrade that we're doing to this car today is Sniper 2 fuel injection. This is a unit from Holley. It's their brand new EFI system. It is fantastic. If you've ever dealt with these, you know that there's a lot of wires that you have to hook up, but they have simplified everything for the Sniper 2 because not everybody needs all those inputs and outputs. But you still have the option to do that, and I'll show you what you can do in a minute. But this is it. You plug these wires in, and this thing is basically ready to run. You've got Bluetooth control that you can actually monitor everything from your phone. You don't even need the handheld anymore. How cool is that? Now, if you do want all the inputs and outputs, we do have this PDM for the Sniper 2. Very simply put, you've got all these different terminals here, and it's all labeled. You just go ahead and tell it exactly where you want your inputs and outputs to go. It's got these little lights on here, kind of gives you an idea of how things are working, and you can mount this anywhere. So again, this is a kit that comes with all this. You can buy just the Sniper 2 by itself, or you don't have to get the PDM with it. But if you want to have some extra accessories, I highly recommend getting this while you have it. Now, this carburetor here, we go way back. We had quite the time trying to get this thing to run right. Thunderhead 289, Luke Finley, he tried his absolute darndest to get this thing to run right, but I think something was wrong with the carburetor to begin with. It just never ran right. We had actually, when I bought it, it was supposed to have specific power valves front and rear, and they were reversed. No joke, I took it apart and it was completely reversed because it was running terrible. Just dumping fuel like crazy to the point where it would shut itself off if you floored it. That was bad. You want to talk about awful. And this thing, I don't know if you can tell it or not. See how black it is up here? All this soot? It's because it's shot flames out. Every single time you drove it, it didn't matter what the setup was. You'd floor it and it'd shoot flames out. No idea what the heck was going on. We verified our timing. We verified everything. For some reason, this carburetor has always been bad. It wouldn't do that with other carburetors, just this one. We changed power valves. We changed jets. We changed accelerator pump cams. We changed everything. We did everything in my power to make this thing run right, and nothing went well for this thing. And it could have just been a manufacturer defect. We don't know what it was. One more bolt. There we go. Let's get this pile of garbage off here. No more to be seen. Here comes nothing but beauty. Look at there. Yes. Now that's a good looking, I was about to say carburetor. That's a good looking throttle body. And with just a couple simple bolts, we had our adapter on the other carburetor, and it bolted right onto the Sniper throttle body. So we have our kickdown linkage and our throttle cable hooked up just like a carburetor would. Super easy to do. Now we have full throttle control. Well, as things go too, you know, you have stuff sit for a while, it's gonna get dirty. All of our paint under the hood and the engine itself is covered in dust. And after doing that throttle body, I was like, you know, you gotta have this thing looking better than it does. So we're gonna take a moment and clean it off and make it look brand new again. We're all about simplicity here, and on the topic of fuel control, this is as simple as it gets. This is an in-tank pump module from Holley that will go directly into a factory style tank. I've already got a brand new tank under this car, and this will bolt right in its place. It's already pre-regulated at the correct PSI, and you don't have to run a return. All you gotta do is a single outlet for a supply, you plug it in, and it's good to go. Comes with your float and a little sock that actually will lay in the bottom of the tank and soak up as much fuel as you need, so you really don't have to worry as much about baffling or anything like that. This is the ticket to simplicity. We've already got a brand new, well, was brand new, I cut it with, you know, we won't talk about that. We've got a 3/8 supply line that's ready to go. Just change it over to some high pressure hose, drop this pump in, wire it in, and you're set. I mean, that's as simple as it does not get any easier than that, folks. I can't begin to describe how easy this whole setup is, and I love this entire deal. So let's drop the tank and put this bad boy in. So we gotta drop my new tank again. The gauge showed empty, so I'm hoping that wasn't a lie. It feels kind of full, Briar, to be honest with you. Well, let me see if I can wiggle it out of the filler neck and you just try to help. Ow! Catch it. I don't have much in it. Oh, yeah. All right, go down and come towards you. Yeah, there's... Yeah, it is. All right, let's go out. Yeah, there's not a whole lot in here. Thank goodness. There you go.
The sending unit, taking it out. Maybe.
Ooh, it's gassy.
It's a gas tank. Aha. Boom. Out.
Look at how dry rotted that gasket already is.
Not very good.
I did that 6 years ago. It's already that rotten. That's not good. So you got to take off the float on the sending unit and just disconnect it, basically. It has to kind of go in two pieces because it's kind of an awkward deal. But what's cool about this hydromat here is that any spot that touches fuel, it will pick it up. It could pick it up all the way over here, just a little tiny glimpse of fuel, and it'll pull it into the pumps. Tuck the float in. The key is don't drop the screw into the tank, whatever you do, because you're going to be fishing for a little while if you do it. I think it said to tighten this down to plus or minus 2 or 3 foot-pounds.
One ugga dugga.
One ugga dugga with the screwdriver right until my wrist pops. Yeah, perfect. Oh no, I forgot the O-ring. Uh-oh. Hopefully I can slide that over it. This is a much better quality O-ring. I mean, much better. Way thicker of a gasket. Nice. That is quality right there, I tell you what. I mean, to have a high pressure fuel pump for that easy, you can't beat that. And this is 255 liters per hour, which is a pretty much an upgrade over the factory unit. It's good for a fuel injection setup and low boost applications, I'm sure. They do offer higher liter per hour, but for what our application is, we really didn't need anything much over this. And then the last piece of the puzzle is this really simple harness he comes with. Nice little plug. We can tie that into the Sniper too, and we're done. This is not working at all. What's happening?
Your back end just dropped.
Okay. Let me get on the other side of the lift here. And I can help you. All right, it's in it. It's in it. See if you can push on that strap on the back side too. Yeah, there you go. Okay, hold her right there. There you go. Oh, it'll hold. Woo! Man.
Wow, that's all breath.
They are not fun. Every charger tank I've ever done has been a nightmare for no reason. That's good. Just make sure it'll hold. All right, push on the back of that. And I'll take the slack out of it. So if you remember a couple videos back, I accidentally cut through my brand new 3/8 fuel line. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the filter here. That should be enough length for a hose, and then maybe right about there. I mean, it might hang down a little bit, but I'd rather do that than make a connection here and then have to do another cut here. So we just use what we have because I'm an idiot. Almost there. There we go.
Taking the fuel pump off.
Why?
Because we have fuel injection now, so who needs this?
Junk. Uh-oh, did it get you?
Yes. Scared me.
There you go. Perfect. We'll save that for, oh, whoa! Ugh.
Happy birthday. You want it back, or can I keep it?
You can have that. You wanna know a fun story about that?
Let's hear it.
So, one time when I was driving on Power Tour, I put a brand new fuel pump on it, and this right here, for some reason, separated. Like, it's crimped together, and the whole thing just fell apart. I mean, it had probably 500 miles on it, and it was dumping gas out of the bottom of the car.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, worse than normal. And I ended up having to change the fuel. That's the fuel pump I put on it in Power Tour. Thankfully, O'Reilly had one, but I was a long ways away from home, and my fuel pump just exploded. So,
Never seen that.
no, nothing new. We got this little doohickey to fix that. A nice little block-off plate for the fuel pump, because we don't need oil slinging all over the ground.
Why not?
Well, you know, I kind of like to keep the oil in the engine if we can help it. You know, I've actually never driven this car, but maybe a quarter of a mile.
What about this gasket?
Who needs it? Well, here's our main output harness. Plug that in. There we go. And that's pretty simple. I mean, you've got some plugs we obviously have to make connections for. Looks like we've got probably, without reading the instructions, I can see that we have a power and a ground that has to go straight to the battery. Probably a keyed switch, our main relay, or our main fuse, a couple other plugs. I think that's to our output for our Bluetooth. They give you an option here. So in this bag, you've got the little handheld that you can stick on the dash, plug that in. So, you know, if you ever do want to go to like the Bluetooth module or go back to this, you at least have the option. Oh, so you can do that. You've got two outputs, so you can do both at the same time. How cool is that? That's awesome. Okay, good. I like that idea. All right, assume that looks like it plugs into here. Yeah, so we got all of our plugs sorted out. I just wanted to figure out what needed to happen to make this thing run. It's really not a whole lot of wiring. I mean, compared to the first generation Sniper, they really simplified a lot of this and made it really easy to work with. Well, this is our mounting location we settled on. I figured it would be very easy to access, and you've got these little test lights right here on the top that tell you about what is and isn't working, including this one being your fuel pump here, this one being your cooling fan, and this one being powertrain. So I assume that has to do with the distributor and the ignition module. It'll either flash green if it's good or red if it's bad. So I like that. And then on the opposite side of this box, you've actually got a wiring diagram that tells you what each one is supposed to do. And it's going to be really easy to mount. I mean, it's just 4 screws. It was really simple to get this in. And then once you get everything done, take this little cover, snap it on, and it looks really, really nice. And it's not super obvious. Again, like I said, I wanted to keep these inner fenders as clean as possible. And that way, if I'm ever troubleshooting from inside the car and I have the hood up, I can crank it up or turn the key on and at least be able to see these lights, and it lets me know if something's wrong. The plan is go through this harness here. They give you a nice, beautiful color printout and tells you exactly everything you need to know. So we've got almost everything on this side done besides the distributor. Over here is where we're gonna have some fun. So it's just a matter of hooking up all these different connections. We don't have our fan and radiator just yet, But, you know, at least for testing purposes, we might be able to hook that up. But as you can see, there's quite a lot involved. But it's really, really nice because you don't really have to use all these if you don't want to. And all this is already included in the harness. You just tie it right in. And like if you don't have an electric fan, simple, you don't have to do it. And if you don't have the HyperSpark, you don't have to do it. You know, you just hook up whatever you want. It's great. It's really, really easy to make work. So everything coming out of this harness, which is all this right here and all this over here, we've got it tied up under the intake to hide it, make it look nice. All that has to go into this PDM. But it's so, so easy to hook up. I mean, it's really just as simple as it can be. So pretty much everything wiring wise is done when it comes down to getting the PDM done and the Holley Sniper 2. But the one thing that this does have is fan control. So I want to go ahead and get that fixed. Now, as you can see, this radiator in here, well, it's too big. And I actually had to make this work because, funny story, I stole this out of my Cordoba because I was trying to make it to power tour in the radiator that I had, and it did not do good at all. Because we put this one in here and it was totally fine, but the thing is that the bottom hose is on the wrong side. I actually had to make a connection pipe to go over to the bottom. You can see I made a pipe out of exhaust and connected it over to here. So I'm draining the radiator because we have a fix for it over here. This beautiful unit is a Champion radiator with their fan shroud and dual electric fans, and let me tell you, this sucker is nice. Now, on every car that I've built, I use Champion radiators because I trust the quality and the craftsmanship of the work. I love these things. They hold up to the test. Basically, I've put them in just about every car. Let me go ahead and look. That car's got one. That car's got one. That car over there had one that's in the Charger right now. My Dart has one. My Challenger has one. And there's more cars outside that have them. I love Champion radiators. So I appreciate them working with us because I stand by their products and I have used them on countless cars with thousands and thousands of miles. It just makes sense to put another Champion in a car I plan to drive. So once we get this old radiator out, we'll put it back in the Cordoba and then we can get this fan wired up so we have all of our stuff with the Holley Sniper 2 wired in. Alrighty, come on out of here. Ooh, yes, a direct fit. Now that looks great. This thing has not had a radiator in it that fits in years. I'm so excited. Now, if I can just find my bolts, we'll be set. Check out that fitment. That looks great, and there's probably a good, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches in between the fan pulley and the power steering pump pulley and the fans themselves. So you have a lot of room to work with these dual fans and giant radiator. This is a 3-core. Wanted to make sure we had at least enough radiator in case we ever go with something different. But I love that. And it doesn't sit above the core support like the old one was. Sweet. Man, that's a good looking unit. One of my favorite things about the Sniper 2 is the fact that you can control your timing directly through all of that. And this is how we're going to do it with the Holley Sniper EFI HyperSpark. I have this exact same setup on my police car with the turbo on it. And let me tell you, when you tell it exactly where you want it to be, it is dialed. I mean, boost reference, all sorts of timing, dial back, a curve, you know, you can even factor in vacuum advance. All of it is right here. It's so simple. Now, on top of that, we have a little control module that goes with it. So it's a complete setup and our HyperSpark coil. So everything is self-contained, and all of it, and I mean all of it, is controlled right through the Sniper EFI, and you can make adjustments on the fly to your timing curve. It's so simple, guys, and you can monitor everything. This is Awesome. I absolutely love this setup. So to make this HyperSpark distributor work, Holley makes it very simple. So as you can see, I already have an MSD Pro billet sitting in there that we have to remove. Right here, this is our new HyperSpark, and it comes with this plastic cap to help you align things. So you can see it only goes on one way, and it'll point your rotor button exactly where it needs to. And there's a small divot in the plastic, and I marked it. That's where number 1 needs to sit. So as soon as we pull that one out, all this one does is drops right in its place. So I've got this one unbolted. There it is. And I'm not going to get rid of that because that is a very good distributor. And we want that rotor button pointing in the same direction. All right, so before I take this cap off and do anything, I'm going to tighten it down so that we know the rotor button is exactly where it needs to sit and the distributor is exactly how it needs to be oriented. And since it was running before, we know that the firing order is correct. So if I take this is my number 1, just transfer it over to here, 2, and my coil wire, which I will need to modify so that way it'll actually work with our new HyperSpark coil. Now once we have it wired up, it's just a matter of plugging it into the HyperSpark and the Sniper 2 harness, because that's right there. It's easy, it's done. Simple as that, folks. I already had an O2 sensor in this car. Now, it is way too far down the pipeline that it needs to be, so I am going to add one probably up here, but it'll work for at least our purposes just to see if everything is good. And I'll take and put a plug here. Oh my gosh, look how dark this thing is. That's how bad this thing was running. This O2 sensor was shot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's bad. So that's why this thing quit working, is because this thing ran so rich. And they do put anti-seize on that. That's a good practice for O2 sensors, because these suckers, if they get hot and rusty and don't want to come off, it is not fun. Yeah, you can see where my long tube headers actually were. So they went all the way pretty much down to right here. So at the time I put this in, it was pretty much in the right spot, but that is no longer the case. You're probably thinking, wow, this is a lot of electronics. There's going to be so many things going on. You're going to have to power it somehow. We have the ultimate fix to power this car with this battery right here. If you know anything about anything related to batteries in a car, you know that Optima is the best in the business when it comes to powering your vehicle. We have a whole lot of new electronics that this car is going to have to handle, and I wouldn't want to trust it with anybody else but Optima. This is our Red Top series. This is part number 9004-003, model number 34/78. Cranking amps is 1,000, cold cranking amps is 800. I mean, this thing is a serious contender, and you've got top post battery cables, and you've also got side post terminals. So I like to run my power wires to the Sniper to these side posts. And if you go back and look into any of these older videos, I had a yellow top in this car that it ran this whole thing with power to her. It drove with the car for a long time. In 2019, that battery was 9 years old. It was made in 2010, and that battery cranked that car just as good as anything brand new. And I kid you not, I kept that battery all the way up until I think 2023. So by the time I got rid of that battery, it was 13 years old and it was still cranking cars. I sold it with a car finally, and that car was still running to this day. Believe it or not, I trust Optima. A 13-year-old battery was still working like it was brand new, and this Red Top is gonna do the trick. I've got one identical to this in my Challenger. I love it. I've never had any issues out of it. Optima is the way to go if you want a good battery that will last a long time. I may be a little biased, but red is my favorite color, so it did kind of go into the choosing factor, but I did choose this one for its capabilities. So all we got to do is hook it up just like that. And as you can see, I simply went and made connectors coming out from under the battery tray all the way up to our battery. And just like that, you have very simple connections. I'm gonna pull this off real quick. We'll get a battery hold down here soon, but simple as that. We have everything wired in, ready to go. That is a clean install if I've ever seen one. I absolutely love these Optima batteries. Dang, that looks good. Well, I think we have everything sorted out to the point of where we can make this thing crank. I have everything wired in that I know of. The only thing that I have not wired in yet is the electric fan setup, but it doesn't have to worry about that because I need 2 different coolant temp sensors for different systems. So I'm gonna wait to put coolant back in it, but we can fire it up and let it run for a little bit. If I did everything right, it should crank. I just finished putting power to the fuel pump. I'm gonna turn the key on. The battery from Optima is in here, and I'm gonna turn the key. Oh, I'm scared. You check for fuel leaks, okay, Pryor? If I did this right, there should be power to the tank. I didn't do something right. There's no power to our box. And which means no power to the fuel pump. That is an oddity. I did it again. The last time I did one of these, I did the exact same mistake. You have to hook up your little display, basically, so you can set up the wizard. You just tell exactly what system you have going on. It's not gonna work until you do that. So that was dumb on my part, sorry. So we do have power and a ground going in, but the trigger wasn't working because the wizard has not been done. So let's go through that real quick. All right, now it should do something. So when I turn the key on, it didn't do anything. Well, I'm an idiot. So I got in a hurry, and every time you get excited, you get in a hurry. This is what happens. So I tucked the ignition box up under the battery tray, and I forgot to plug it in. And that's what powers things. So,
Third time's the charm?
Third time's the charm, I think. So now, I turn the key. There's lights though. There are lights. I see stuff happening up front. Surely I didn't plug it into the wrong one, right? I have a secret kill switch in this car, and it was off. So, check this out. Now, whenever I turn the key, who would have thought? If you actually, turn your switch on, things work. So it says, please run the wizard or load a calibration. Wizards, Sniper 2. Hello, Dixie. Can I help you? Number of cylinders, 8. Engine displacement, not 715. That's for sure. Target idle speed, we'll shoot for, because you can adjust all this later. We'll go for, let's just do 850. It's a good safe number. Maybe street strip, not really though. Power adders, none. Coil, we have HyperSpark, standard HyperSpark. I don't have any boost, no boost. Target AFR is 0 boost, so they're like wide open. 12.2s are pretty good. We don't have any boost. Start. So now it'll probably make me cycle the key. Oh.
Hooray! It's only gonna take off.
Finish. Oh, yep, the injector's primed. I think it should start now. I'm kind of scared. Ooh, that's timing issue right there. Might not be a bad idea to actually put a timing light on it. Re-verify top dead center. Ooh. Yeah, it's kicking back. It's like it's 180 degrees out or something. So let's play around with that. It's kicking back pretty hard. So we know we're getting spark. There's a type of ignition there. Things are happening, but it's acting like the distributor is dropped in 180 degrees out. And the good news is that's a simple fix. And what we're gonna have to do is unbolt the retaining bolt here. But I thought I had it on top dead center, but I could have had it totally 180 degrees out. I have done that before. The good thing about a Mopar is that that's really easy to fix. All you gotta do is pick it up, drop it in, right back in its place, 180 degrees in the opposite direction. I may have it too advanced for whatever one direction. All right, take number 2. Are you ready? That was weird. No. Something, okay. I think I had it right the first time. We just might have to rotate the distributor a little bit. We were having a couple issues. We couldn't figure out if we were getting spark at all, and we couldn't spin the engine over fast enough or enough times to really check and verify timing. So I knew that the car ran really rough before, and I was like, let's just go ahead and pull the spark plug so we can spin it over faster and check the plugs at the same time. They all look like this. These probably have maybe 3,000, 4,000 miles on them. That carburetor that was on this car was bad. So we're going to clean all these up. Like, we have one testing right here just to verify we were getting spark in general. And whenever it actually had a spark, it fizzled and like ignited the gas on it. It was that bad. So while we're here, I have it set at cranking 20 degrees. I think 15 might actually be better, but we're going to verify that that's actually correct on the balancer. Go ahead, Briar. Okay. So based on our adjustments, we have it right on the money at this point. So now timing is right. We're going to go ahead and clean up those spark plugs, put them back in, and see if it'll fire. And to be fair, the instructions do tell you to pull the wire for the fuel pump, but I just went ahead and went gung-ho, which these plugs were totally bad before we started this, so I was at fault here. Totally my fault, so we should have everything sorted out at this point. Okay, fuel pump is hooked back up. We have our timing kind of where it should be. I'm hoping it was pretty much on the nose. Back to cranking timing, back down to 15 degrees, as well as the idle timing, so like just the base idle timing. It ran pretty good at 16 degrees initial whenever I had it with the old cam, so I'm hoping around the same, maybe a little bit less, but 15 is a good start. No fuel or anything, so we're going to just go ahead and let it prime one more time. If it doesn't crank that first time, you can turn the prime off. What did it just do? Backfired. Backfired? That wasn't fun. It's showing the AFR super lean. Target AFR to idle's 1350. I just wonder if it's because that O2 sensor is too far down the pipe. But even if it is, it should try to crank. If it's not, it's just going to ratchet up the mixture. Sometimes it takes a little trial and error to get some stuff figured out. What I ended up having to do was go back and sleep on it. Mainly what I had wrong was the timing. So what I did was play around with the initial on the little handheld. You can adjust your initial timing, your cranking timing. I put all that at 0. And whenever I put it down to 0, the thing started to sputter to life. So I kept dialing my distributor in, and what I did, I kept slowing down the timing, slowing down the timing, slowing down the timing until it actually fired up and ran. When that happened, I checked it with a timing light, and when I did, it had 40 degrees, I believe, of initial timing, which is insane. So I actually went and set the initial timing on the handheld to 15 degrees. I locked it out, and then I set the distributor to 15 degrees. So now everything is working properly. You have got to hear how crisp this thing is when it revs up. I'm gonna hop in here and you'll be able to hear everything working. Turn the key on. Hear the pump priming. Injector's fired, and now we crank. Ooh. It's a cold start. Yes, and plus it's cold, so it's not going to actually drop the RPM and drop the IAC sensor until it reaches a specific temp. But man, is it good. Like, that's solid right there. That is absolutely solid. Super easy cranking every single time, and it idles super smooth. Right now it's about 900, 950 for RPM, so it'll kind of tame itself down once it warms up a little bit, but super simple. Like, I can't be any more happy with how that runs. And while we were at it, I cleaned up my PDM wiring. got all that sorted out, got the electric fans working. We'll see that kick on whenever it gets up to temperature. You can actually set different temps for when you want them to engage. I just went ahead and set them at the both at the same temp. There's the PDM. The lights there are telling me things are working, so that's great. I think the RPM came down a little bit. Yeah, it's coming down to about, might be hard to see, it won't focus, but it's at 850 to 900 for RPM. So it's really starting to get where it needs to be. And out back, just ignore all the mess because I've been using this car as a shelf for the past few days. Listen to it. Man. If that don't make you happy, I don't know what will. And it's super simple. Once we got it sorted out and figured out what the problem was, it was an easy fix. I don't know how it happened. I goofed somehow, but once I figured it out, it fired right up. First time, I mean, immediately just cranked. And I can't be more happy with that. So now the RPM, I set the RPM to like 750, so it's starting to kind of come down. You can see the IAC. We don't have the alternator charging just yet. We're up to 140 degrees. Things are working steadily. It's cool. Like this thing, everything about this car is so cool. Like the rev, oh my gosh, is it crisp. I'll give you a little bit. It's not fully warmed up yet, but. Golly. You hear the IAC kick in, and then slowly start to drop. Super, super fun, super tunable. I was able to play around with this stuff and like kind of figure things out as I was going. And I set the ignition timing, I think at 10 degrees. It was really happy at 10 because that got my IAC coming down to 0 at full temp, as well as a solid RPM reading. So we're doing great. 156 degrees. It starts learning at 160, and you really got to drive it. It has to go through the RPM, kind of learn how you drive, how things need to go. You can hear that RPM starting to drop, and you're getting a little bit of that cam lope in it, but look how steady the engine is. Rock solid, like does not move whatsoever. Here's a dead solid idle. This thing is dialed in now. I cannot believe it. So yeah, now you can see we're starting to come down to our target AFR, which was like 13.5. So, and our idles were coming down to about 800 RPM. And then ignition time is kind of danced around 10 degrees, but you can lock it out to kind of tune things. That's what I had to do. I just had to lock it out and figure out what was going on. You got to listen to this rev. If that's not crispy, I don't know what is. And I think it's blowing a bunch of soot out of the old mufflers because it ran so rich for so long. Those mufflers are packed full of junk. But now it's going to clear itself out. And again, it's not fully tuned, so it does have to go through the break-in period where you drive it, and the more you drive it, the better it gets. I cannot believe how this thing runs. Hopefully we can hear the fans kick on. I can't remember what temp I have them on, but right now we're at 170 degrees. They should kick on around 190 if I'm not mistaken. I've got a 180 thermostat in here, so that should be about right. And then I have them kicking off at 185 if I remember correctly. But again, everything is controlled through the distributor, through the HyperSpark. Fuel control, timing control, all of it is self-contained, so you know that everything's communicating with each other, which means you're gonna get a solid tune. This thing is radical. This is the best this thing's ever ran. I'm not even joking. It has never been able to run this good. And I've had this car for 6 years, and it's never, ever, ever ran this good, ever. Okay, we're getting about to 190. The fan should kick on. Will it do it? There they go. Might be able to hear them. Those fans will come on at 190 and it'll shut off at 185. That is great. So we've got dual electric fans. Everything is communicating, like I said. All this stuff really needs to talk to each other because it just makes it so much easier when it's all self-contained in the same system. I love this setup so much. Like, it does not get any better than this, folks. These are Dynamax Ultra Flows, by the way. They're 2.5 inch straight through muffler. They sound so good with a mid-length header straight out the back with an H pipe. They are such good mufflers. And that's with a Comp XE268H. Very mild hydraulic flat tappet cam, nothing crazy whatsoever. Nothing exotic. It's just a good all-around, good mid-range, good torque, good bottom end. It's just solid. There you go, IAC is down to 2. We put a battery charger on here just to keep the fans, you know, at power. It's dropped down to 189, and it should, like I said, cut off at 185. So it's coming down. It says it's 87 degrees for the manifold temp, so pretty warm. So we're at least going the right direction. That's great news. So this thing will sit here and idle all day long. I'm able to cut it off. Hot restart. Right back on. I didn't let it prime that time, but easy peasy. Well, without further ado, it is now time to go ahead and announce what we will be giving away for this go around. Now, as a reminder, to enter to win this, all you got to do is go down in the link in the description below, order anything on the website, and you will be automatically entered to win. We will pick at random a winner for these 3 things. First of all, the original coil that came off of this car. This is what we just pulled off to replace with the HyperSpark coil. It still works, so if you want to put it on your car, you totally can. It's signed by me, as you can see, my signature's on there. This is off the car that I'm working on currently. I just pulled it off there. Another thing is, you didn't see this, but it was off camera. I actually cooked the starter relay on this thing, and here it is. This is bad, question mark. I wrote on the bottom of it to remind myself, so I figured, hey, let's just give it away. It's a good little paperweight if you want to do anything with it. But this came off the car. This is the one that drove on the car through Power Tour 2019. When I rewired the car back in 19, it was on there. I mean, this thing has been on here for 5 years, and it's just as much as part of the car as everything else. And on top of that, the last piece that we'll be giving away is the fuel filter that was on this car. This is a chrome one. It was actually, you know, halfway decent, so there's still gas dripping out of it right now. We'll make sure it's good and clean before I send it to you. But this was the fuel filter you saw me pull off of, or actually Briar pulled it off, and then it dumped gas all over me, as it's still doing. So again, this has been on the car for many, many years, and is just as much a part of the car as anything you see. So 3 things we'll be giving away. So make sure you go down in the link below, order any t-shirt, any sticker, anything you want at all. This will get you entered to win one of these memorabilia items, as well as sending money to get something running, getting these cars back on the road, getting anything here you see. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. We've got a lot more updates to come, and I hope you stick around and subscribe if you want to see more Charger content. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.